everyone. We thought one of the most impactful ways of explaining the way that we include young people and their lived experience was literally just to be able to speak to somebody who's gone through the program that we have. So my name's Zach, and I'll just be asking Ruby a few questions based on their experiences. So Ruby, firstly, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your education journey?
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I grew up in out-of-home care on and off since the age of roughly 9 years old. I attended 10 different schools, both primary and high school. In the end, in year 10, I dropped out of mainstream school because I was experiencing learning difficulties, bullying, and living in residential care. It just wasn't for me. So in the end, I dropped out and I was like, that's it, I'm not going to go to school. And then I was told by DHS that my education didn't matter because I dropped out of mainstream school. I was homeless at this point, and I said, no, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to get a high school education, and then I'm going to do something with my life. I went to VCAL at Go Tape in my hometown, and I passed. I graduated year 12, and then I went on to go to university, and I went to Federation University to start with. The course didn't work out, but I ended up not giving up, and I ended up going to Deakin College, getting a diploma in communications, major in journalism, to then pathway into my Bachelor of Communications, which I have just recently finished, which I will be walking across the stage graduating in June this year. So, and as someone who never really had anyone around me that I understood, like that had a care experience that wanted to go to university, I think that like I've showed myself, but also others that you can. And I think that's like the most powerful message.
That's amazing, Ruby. Thank you. I've heard you tell that story before, and it's just awesome every time. It makes me excited every time you tell it. That's great. Thank you. How has being involved in raising expectation looked for you, both in terms of support, but also how you've been able to use your expertise as a young person with a care experience?
Oh, I could talk about this for hours, honestly. And you don't need to pay me. I will just do it for free. I first
We will
engaged
anyway.
with I first engaged with Raising Expectations in 2021. So I was in Ballarat studying at Federation University at this point. I think it was around the point that I had realised that the course I was doing just wasn't for me. And I was a little bit lost on like what I was actually going to do. So I knew I wanted to be a journalist, but how to get there. So Raising Expectations, I started engaging with. They gave me advice course-wise and just career paths. But probably two of the most impactful things is one, the peer mentoring and just the amazing staff, and just like being able to go to people that actually want to help and want to actually hear about the goals and aspirations that young people have. But the second thing that is outside of the Race Expectations program, but has impacted my life so much, is telling me about a program that I actually participated in called Youth Press Gallery. It is a volunteer program that the Y offers, YMCA, and it taught me how to write an article. It was the first program that taught me how to actually do what I wanted to do in life, and that led me to go on to internships at ABC. It led me to getting my story more broadly published and noticed, and it also helped me get into my bachelor degree because by the time I was starting my diploma, I knew how to write an article, and so and then. More broadly, I now volunteer on this program. So I volunteer as a task force member on this program called Youth Parliament that helps with Youth Press Gallery as well. And I'm able to learn leadership skills. I'm able to learn facilitation skills that I also use with the work I do with Raise Expectations. So in the sense of they kind of planted the seed that has changed my life for the better. And now I also get to work on the team. So that's even more like amazing. And yeah, it's Raise Expectations needs to be more broadly known, I think, as someone who came from regional Victoria. I never knew anything about all these opportunities and all these amazing supports that is out there. But as soon as I left my hometown, it was like, ding, 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 there's all these amazing things. But what about the other young people that don't have that? They need to know, because Raise Invitations, they help. And oh, so thankful, because I know that in myself, I would not have been able to finish my degree if I didn't get the support and just the guidance and having people that believed in me. I think that's the biggest thing. Raising Expectations believes in young people,
Mm.
and that's what we need, especially as care experienced young people, because we're told that we can't do something, but we can. We are capable. So, yeah.
That's awesome, and I feel like you've almost answered my next question of how it's impacted you personally. But I guess even more so in terms of utilizing your experience in care to support other people. Sort of what has that been for you? What has that meant for you to be able to do that, or has it felt like something that you've been able to do successfully through raising expectations in the center?
Yeah, so probably one of the most amazing opportunities I've had throughout my degree that is thanks to Raising Expectations is actually being hired by Deakin University. So this is also both a professional but personal development for myself. But Raising Expectations recently partnered with Deakin University right as I was finishing, but that's okay. But that happening, Deakin wanted to create a framework of sorts to kind of support care experienced young people studying. And so they hired me and they were like, here, you're a student partner, create a program to support care experienced young people studying at university. And I was like, no, I want to go bigger. I want to go bigger than this. I want to create a program for high school students to be able to explore higher education, because one of the things I believe in most, I think Race Expectations has helped me with this, is seeing is believing. You need to see the support. You need to see what is out there to be actually believe that you can. And so in November 2024, we had this beautiful event in Geelong Warren Ponds campus. Race Expectations, like staff members from Race Expectations was there, representatives from the Commission on Children and Young People, Create Foundation, Deakin, and even young people with a care experience, both who have engaged with Race Expectations and who haven't. We all came together, and every young person that attended the event actually engaged with Race Expectations afterwards. And I think that just shows how important Race Expectation is. And also just the fact that what young people need that support. They need to see it, they need to experience it, and they need to feel like they have people that they can that believe in them. Sorry, words. And I think it's also just like another thing on a personal aspect is that Raise Expectations actually helped me when it came to being finding out I had ADHD. And I think that's one thing where not everyone's the same. Everyone has different learning techniques. Everyone has different accessibility needs, and being able to go to people and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this, or I'm not quite sure about this, and actually getting support with that. Like, I think it's really impactful, and it's helped me in ways where I've actually learned on how I need to ask for help and or how I need to engage with people to be able to better not only my experience, but also others.
That's amazing. That's, yeah, incredible. And I think sort of leading on to that, what is your vision for care experience young people and their education? What would you like to see change in the future?
Yeah, so I think it's no secret that it is a very small percentage of care experienced young people that actually go on to higher education, which finding that out actually really angered me. And I think that going forward, I think young people need to be at the heart of not only their decisions, but also their own learning and what support is out there. I think people need to understand that it doesn't matter where a young person is who has a care experience. Like, it shouldn't be state or territory by state and territory. It should be Australia-wide, in my opinion. And I think that would be really amazing that if Race Expectations was an Australia-wide program, because I've actually got friends in different states and territories who are like, we would love to engage with Race Expectations because we don't have that where we're from. And just hearing that, that's just a call that change needs to happen. Like, there are young people that would love to go to university, would love to get a higher education, but they can't because they don't have that support. And it could literally just take one person being that support for someone that can change their life forever. And I think that it shouldn't be like every young person deserves the education. It doesn't matter if you have experienced disadvantage. It doesn't matter if you're an out-of-home care young person. Education, knowledge, it's a human right. Like, we shouldn't, young people, I feel like young people are kind of being set up to fail, and that needs to stop. But then the thing is that people question why they're not going to university or why they're not succeeding, but at the same time, they're being set up to fail. They're being put in that situation where they aren't going to thrive. And I believe that we should be thriving, not just surviving in this world. And we need to make that happen. And Raise Expectations knows that, and they are doing that. So we need to get more young people to engage, and we need to also, it's not even about them engaging, they need to know so they can engage. If they don't know, they're not going to be able to have that support which they need.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that, Ruby. We obviously always really appreciate and value all the things that you bring to Raising Expectations and to the rest of the center. And yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, thank you, everybody.